Now that we've created a fully constrained profile and analyzed it to verify it was a closed profile and fully constrained, we can make a solid. You want to make sure that it is closed and it is a fully constrained profile before you make your solid, or try to make your solid. If it's not, you may very well not get a solid created. Okay, now let's see. We are going to build the solid by creating a pad, and then we'll apply a material, and then we can shade the material. So I'm in the sketch application right now. I know that because up in the top right corner it says Sketcher. I want to get out of Sketcher, so I'm going to go ahead and hit exit to exit the Sketchwork application, also known as the workbench. I'm currently in part design workbench. You can see up here it says it's in the part design. That is the workbench, or known as the application. This is again our specification tree where it shows all the constraints we built, the horizontal, vertical, parallel constraints, your lengths and your offsets constraints, and your two datums. I forgot to do something in the other video. I typically like to rename the datums. So we go to properties, and this is named datum A, all in caps, and you use the -A dash or minus symbols to establish it's a datum flag. One more time, under properties, that's a contextual menu. You right click, the contextual menu comes up, and hit properties. And then I can use the up arrow or down arrow, and it remembers the last thing I typed in. I typed in datum B last time and hit enter, and now I've got my datum A and B established. That's actually in the sketch. Now if you ever want to go back to the sketch, you just simply double click sketch 1. The number one mistake people make going into the sketch 1 is they click on this and then click here, and they think they're in sketch 1, and then they're like, oh, all my dimensions are gone, and they can't do anything to this part. It's because if you look in the specification tree, this is actually sketch number 2 I created. I'm not modifying sketch 1. So again, to get out of that sketch app, you hit this exit icon in the features, and then sketch 2 goes away because I didn't build anything. So you want only this one sketch with all the constraints showing up here, and in the geometry you have all those points and lines we built. Okay, so when you exit the sketch, to get into the sketch to change it, you double click it. I'm sorry. So again, to exit this application, and I want to actually change sketch 1, you double click sketch 1. And then if I open up constraints and I highlight datum A and B, after you rename them, sometimes they shoot up to the top. Let me turn that grid off for a sec. Maybe you can see this better. Here's your datum A and B. If I click on this, there's your datum A. If I click on this, this is your datum B. Okay, I'm going to exit out now, and we can now build a pad. Typically, as soon as you exit the sketch, it's already highlighted by default. It knows you probably want to use one of these features below. The feature I'm looking for is in the Model tab. So when I select the Model tab, feature I'm looking for is the pad feature. If I hit the down arrow, you'll see there's several other features. You want to make sure that you're using the top feature called pad. So again, I just activate that. As soon as I activate the pad feature, a pop-up window comes up. So this little pop-up window right here allows you to identify certain things. For example, the length. If I hit the up arrow, it changes in increments of 1 inch. Okay. If I hit this feature here, it will mirror it to both sides. So if I turn that off, it's only going in one direction. The direction we always want to go in is the reverse direction. I have two reasons for that. One, look at where your constraints are. They're in the back of the part. I want to reverse the direction by inverting it using this direction arrow here. All you have to do is select on it and you'll notice it goes in the reverse direction. The reason why I build this in the negative X direction is, number one, you see the profile constraints? They're easy for me to see. If you have a complicated part and you do not reverse it, all the parts are going to be hidden, or constraints get hidden by this solid. So anytime I want to change it, it's harder to pick on these numbers. Okay, you might have to rotate it around to get to that. So what I do is I reverse the direction. The most important reason for doing this is when I create a drawing, this here face is known as the front view. And if I want the drawing to have this face as the front view, then I got to reverse that direction. If I don't reverse the direction, this is the front view and all the dimensions are on the back. And it's not a true orthographic projection when I'm working off the axis system. So the axis system should be on the front and it's on the back right now. See, it's on the back corner. I want that axis in the very front. When I reverse the direction, this is the correct orientation. So when they go to make a drawing, the front view will look like this on the screen. I'll go to the View tab. As you recall, using all of these in the previous exercises, I go to the front view. This is the view I'm looking for. All my dimensions are actually on the front. That is truly the front. Okay. Again, if I reverse the direction, when you go to make your front view, it looks like you're on the front, but really everything's on the back. Okay. So you want to make sure you're working on the front view by reversing the direction. And when I hit front view, that's the true front view you have. Let's go back to the isometric view. And I'm just going to move this over a little bit. I want to get an exact length of 3 inches, so I'm going to highlight that and type in 3 and hit enter. And that part is now 3 inches long. Congratulations, we've built a solid. After creating the solid, we're going to apply the material and shade it. So the fun part of this would be to go to the Tools Working tab, activate the Tools Working tab, and look for this feature, Material Browser. Select the browser, and it's loading. I'm going to search for a material. I'll type in 6061 and select, type in enter, and it'll find aluminum. Okay, so whatever aluminum I want to find a specific one called core. I'm going to try and narrow down that search. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to type in T6-6061. Oh, maybe it's 6061-T6. My computer got reset, so all my defaults are lost. I can't even remember what I used to type in. I'm going to hit enter, click on that. Okay, so I'm looking for these right here, and I'm looking for the ones that say core, and I'm noticing the one I normally use isn't in here. It was 190 results. I'm actually looking for the one from the Dassault guy. It should be way down on the bottom, one of the first ones that I use. And it's this one here from my Dassault instructor person, Florence. It honestly doesn't matter, but I think that's why I keep getting so many of these, is people don't use this one. It makes its own. I'm not really sure. But to apply that material, what you do is you hit the down arrow and open it. Or no, sorry, apply, and then the hourglass comes up. It's thinking about it. Now, you would think it would just make the screen go away, because I'm done selecting, but you actually have to close it off on the top to make it go away. So I'm going to close that off, and then you see if you look at my mouse moving around, to the bottom right of my mouse is like a little type of material to apply. So I'm going to slide this up here, and I'm going to pick on the top of the specification tree, and it adds the material to the spec tree. If that material looks right, you can hit the check mark to accept that. So I'm going to click on the green check mark, and I've now put the material in there. It doesn't look much like anything, so what you have to do is go to the View Working tab, select your shade options, which is the view mode. When I click on the view mode, it's this barrel right here. It's called shading with material. So when I click on this, it shades it to look like aluminum, which ironically it already was that same color. So just for kicks, I'll turn this off and repeat the steps, and we'll try a different material. I'll go to Tools, use the material browser, and I'm going to search up here. For some reason this is very slow now, and I'm going to type in let's type in wood, see what kind of wood I have available. So I'm going to use this one as long as it says core. I got to scroll down and look for one that says core. I'm going to go all the way to the very bottom if I can. And see, all these say core. Now, why don't I have color? Ooh, what happened? I see a bunch here to choose from, but they don't look like they have any color to them. I'll try this one here, pine. I'll hit the down arrow and hit apply. Close this off. Notice the material right now is the 6061 T6 aluminum. If I click on this and hit the check mark, it should replace it with pine. But for some reason I lost my color. Well, anyways, that's how you shade the material. So hopefully you can find some type of material where you can actually see it shaded. Alright, that concludes actually making the part. The last step is to create some measurements and analyze it.